There's this quote that I really like, and it's so simple and so ironic, but so true. It goes like this: the road to heaven feels like hell, while the road to hell feels like heaven. It's very short and simple, but I will dedicate this video to it. And rather than looking at it superficially, let's try to unpack it a little bit and dive deeper. Our brains are wired in a way that they will always choose the familiar hell rather than the unfamiliar heaven. Why? Because what's unfamiliar is uncertain. It might lead to discomfort, and that scares us. Hardship feels unbearable, but here's the truth: to get to heaven, more often than not, you have to spend some time in hell. I haven't met a single person yet that found meaning in their life simply by chasing fleeting pleasures. Maybe a path with a higher chance of finding meaning would be to take control of these desires, to not let anything, cigarettes, porn, alcohol, own you. These things enslave you by creating the problems that they then temporarily fix. True freedom comes when you refuse to be enslaved by your desires. That's why it's very important to build momentum. Momentum is everything. Every good decision you make builds on the last. You get the ball rolling, you're making progress, you feel great, but then you decide to indulge just a little. Just one cigarette, you say, just one drink, you promise yourself, just one cookie, and you put them back in the package, you swear. But you know how it always ends. And just like that, you've lost your momentum. You shot yourself in the foot. The energy you built up, gone. Momentum, lost. And you're back to square one. Every time you indulge in these habits, you're playing a dangerous game with your brain. Here's how it works: you get a hit, whether it's from alcohol, drugs, porn, or even social media, and you feel a rush of dopamine. Feels good, but next time that same hit is not enough. Your brain craves more to feel the same rush, so you escalate. In order to get the same dopamine rush, you need a much bigger hit. More alcohol, more cigarettes, a weird category of porn, harder drug, the list goes on. Eventually, one day you realize that you find yourself in a position where you do everything you can to produce a giant hit to barely feel any rush. You might get drunk alone because you don't want your friends to see what amounts of booze you need in order to get your hit. You might sell your parents gold wedding rings in order to purchase drugs. You can't go a full day without hiding in the bathroom, masturbating to porn. Feels like an escape, but it's a trap. It gives you the very problems that it then pretends to fix. Lonely? Watch some porn. Stressed? Watch some more. But the fix does not last, does it? It leaves you emptier, lonelier, and more miserable than before. You go to all those extremes to produce a hit, but your systems are so downregulated that you barely feel anything. That's called tolerance. And when neurons start to die from overstimulation, you enter a dark cave that's almost impossible to exit, called addiction. It all started nice and sweet, but turned sour real quick. A great cautionary tale is the last interview with Ted Bundy, just hours before he was executed. Definitely put things into perspective, and it's a great opportunity to learn from other people's mistakes and decide which slopes might be too slippery to even risk getting any close to them at all. Hedonism feels like a shortcut to joy in a way, but in reality, it's a black hole that never ends. The more you indulge, the deeper you get sucked into it. You get drunk, you feel the rush, but then the rush fades. So you seek something stronger, a higher high, a bigger hit. You can only smoke so many cigarettes before trying weed. You can only have so many drinks before taking a sniff of cocaine. You can only watch and seek so much weird porn before you find yourself in a pedo island. But when you hold the line, when you practice self control, something amazing happens. Every time you resist a bad habit, you gain self respect. And self respect leads to self esteem. The man who doesn't give in to his impulses is the freest man in the world. Why? Because, as Jocko Willink titled his book, Discipline Equals Freedom. Being a disciplined person and practicing self control is not easy. Sacrifice is not fun, but sacrifice creates paradise. Every time you say no to temptation, you build something greater. A greater version of yourself that has high self respect and a strong character. Hardship is what breaks you, but it's also what builds you. Broken down or build up, the choice is yours. Cheap dopamine is the modern devil. Take control of your life, build your paradise. You have the power to choose heaven or hell, freedom or mental slavery. The choice is yours.